Hi guys, Jay Smith here, welcome to the AskGolfNut channel and welcome to the Mizuno Pro 245, the fat blade up against the new JPX925 forged. Both of these irons are exactly the same, lofted at 30 degrees. Both of these are within the player's distance category. The 245 absolutely is in the player's distance category because it looks like their player's iron, the 241, just fatter. And of course the JPX925, their new one that replaced the 923, which is a really very good upgrade. So we're going to be looking at these at three different swing speeds, 70, 80 and 90 miles an hour. We'll also look at the heat maps as well. When you don't hit the middle, which one is better at retaining ball speed than the other, because we do need a little bit of forgiveness out of these. And also what happens when it comes to the flight differences, launch factor, which one converts a little bit more of your dynamic loft into launch, which one's got a faster face, and also if there's any spin rate difference. Let's go do the Pro 245 first. When it comes to looks, absolutely my favorite. It just looks lovely. The only thing they could have done to make this better was to properly chrome it. Top lines is relatively thin. It is chamfered at the back, so it is actually thicker than it looks, but it does look quite thin. Sole thickness, it just does look really very nice. And when it comes to blade lengths, it's not that much in it. And again, if I can get the Mizuno side of things, we can get it up there. And so you can see the physical differences between these two. Down by the golf ball, it has got a fraction of offset there, but hardly anything whatsoever. It does look a very nice golf club down by the golf ball. Let's go give it a hit. We are at a hole, the same one that I've done the Pro 243 against the JPX925 forged. This is ridiculous. We are looking at some trouble on the left-hand side, trouble on the right-hand side. The pin is right at the front of the green, and that is the smallest mouth opening of a green I've seen in a long time. The miss on this one absolutely would be long, nothing to do with where we're going to be hitting it. But this is YouTube, so why the heck not? Right, 925, let's go give this one a hit, see how this one feels. Oh, just stay there. Come back if you can. Come back if you can. Bounce off. Go on, good bounce off. Oh, you'll take that. I'd be hitting this to the fat part of the green all day long. Not hitting it where I am, but we got club head speed 89.7 miles an hour, club path 2 degrees from the inside, and face was basically 0. That's why we pushed it slightly out to the right. Slightly toey strike, 7mm toe, 1mm low. You could detect that. With the 245, with it being hollow bodied, you can detect a certain amount of the strike. With a 241, even a 243, you've got a little bit better understand the feedback of where you're hitting it. Absolutely fine, but I like the fact that we go to a 241, etc. You do get the nuance of strike. But we're going 174 yards of carry, 36 yards in the air, and 48.2 degrees descent angle. More than enough to stop on said green. And we didn't get it in the drink or in that nasty stuff on the left-hand side. Feel-wise, you can feel that it is a little bit more punchy. Yes, it's got copper underlay, but it is hollow bodied, and it's got tungsten in there. It's got loads of different technology to try and get the golf ball going. It's just that the feeling is a little bit more, especially compared to the Pro 243. Go on and give it another go. Let's see if I can stay away from the left-hand side. It just does feel really punchy, like properly punchy. Unmistakably hollow bodied, but it's got that slight softness for the copper. Club head speed 89.8 miles an hour, 1.4 from the inside path, and face again is basically 0, little push out to the right hand side, 2mm hill, 0mm high. Just felt really quite nice. Anyone who's got 245s and they button these things, you'll know how nice they feel. You've got a little bit of softness to it, but you have a definite amount of punch to it as well. It's got 175 yards in the air, 35.2 yards of peak height, and 48.2 degrees descent angle. That's stopping. If I could, again, I am trying to get as close to the pin as I possibly can do. So really I should be hitting to the back of the green. Go getting the 6-iron or even 5-iron and probably just sending it out the back there for safety. Out the 2, absolutely, I am going for this, looks-wise. Out of the 2 though, being honest, I'd possibly be going for the 925 when I'm not on an on day and I'm hitting some weird and wonderfuls. I feel that the 925 forge is going to be a fraction more helpful than this. On an on day, that just looks nice, works well. It's just a better golf club for me. It's just lovely. It really gone, oh, it's not going to hit the pin. That's a shame. But it means that's a massively good result. Club at speed 90.6 miles an hour, club path 0.7, faces 0, there you go, 0.1. Just a baby, just, what is that, 2 yards offline, that is it. 8 mil heel, 1 mil high, which is interesting. I really didn't feel the heel that much. Going back to what we were saying about when you start going into this kind of golf club, you start losing a little bit of the perfect nuance of strike. But again, that's absolutely fine. 174 yards of carry this time, 34.5 yards in the air, and 47.8 degrees ascent angle. Working really quite well. Now, I'll flick over now to the 925 forge. We'll change the data set as well, so we can actually get a completely different colored line for FSX. Let's go see how the 925 forge gets on. I'm back now with the 925 forge. Data set is also changed, and we have contour ellipse. That is the big song and dance story about the 925 forge. What made the hot metals, the JPX925 hot metals, especially the Hot Metal Pro, so very forgiving and so very, very good was that contour ellipse. It's the shape which they effectively mill in the back of the face to try and get some really good variable face thickness going on, to try and get some ball speed up when you don't hit the middle. And that's what you need on a flat-faced iron. You need consistency of ball speed when you don't hit the middle. That'll keep distance the same or very, very consistent, and that's what you want when you miss hit. And so they've had to make this in 2 pieces. It's a 2-piece forge construction. Top lines we have a slightly, I tell you what, I'll get up all the information up on there so you can actually see which one's thicker or which one's not, because to me, they're so very, very close. Again, it's just they do look completely different from the back because you've got that badge, which is, I think, ABS plastic. I'm not quite sure. Anyone down on the comments know exactly what that is or what that's made from, by all means, stick it down there. Where on the 245, you have a full-on blade look. It's just a fat blade, because it's hollow bodied. Right, let's go give this one a hit. Down by the golf ball, we have, ooh, what are we gonna say? Who's gonna win on the offset front? I would say, again, it's so close, but I think 245 might have slightly less, but again, I'll try and stick up on the screen so you can actually see which one has more or less. Well, that is not middle. I can tell that one straight away, but that is a very good result. Low heel? Well, I was right, just more heel than low. Club head speed 90.4 miles an hour, 1.4 from the inside, so path slightly from the inside, and face is literally 0 to that, hence why we had a little bit of a push out to the right hand side. 12 millimeters heel, 2 mil low. That's fairly heely. That's my fault, that's not the golf club's, and it's going 173 yards of carry, 35 yards in the air, 48 degrees ascent angle. It's just working really well considering that is nowhere near middle. That's very heely. I could detect that it was off, very off, and this is what you're going to get with these kind of golf clubs because there is a lot more tech in these side of things. You go to a full-on blade and every single part of the face you can feel where you hit it. You get more technology into it, you get an idea of what these kind of golf clubs are. Even worse than when you get into like the full-on super game improvement irons where there's tech everywhere. You kind of lose the understanding of where you're hitting on the face. You have to hit some really weird and wonderful parts to get an understanding of where you're hitting it. This one, you're just starting to lose it. But feeling wise, I'd still say Pro 245 is fractionally softer. Again, if that's something that you think is good, want or not, that's up to you. But the 245 with that copper underlay, just a fraction softer. It's so close though. Everything else is, looks wise, I'll take 245, but I think on a package, for good days and bad days, I think I'm going 925 forged. Now that's hands off. That was not good. That's the worst one yet. Will we get away with it? Oh, we will. Oh my word, nearly gimme circle. Club speed 91.4 miles an hour, club path 1.4 from the inside. Face though, 1.3 open. There was 2 reasons why the hand come off of that. Was the fact that I could feel the face was open, which was going to be not good in this situation. And then also 9 millimeters low. That was nearly double digits low, which is not the greatest at all. So you're losing distance because of the face being open, and you're losing distance because obviously you hit it 9mm, nearly double digits low on the face. Carries 170 yards. We're not lost hardly anything, which is really good. We're going 35 yards in the air and 48.6 degrees descent angle. That's working really well. And thank you for the right-hand side of the golf course that give me a little bit of a member's nudge to the green. But it's done a really good job considering that is nowhere near how I would see for this kind of hole. This kind of hole, you need to be hitting near on perfect shots. Again, if you're playing golf club properly, if I'm this golf course, I would not be going for this pin. I am hitting back of the green all day long. Just too much mess, but it's YouTube. Who cares? Right, final one. I want to see how well it works at 3 different swing speeds. I also want to compare the heat maps and see which one is better, because on first feeling, I'm thinking 925 Forged is winning. Oh dear, that's flirty left. That's the first flirty left. Oh no. Stay up. Oof. I am a lucky, lucky boy. Club speed 90 miles an hour, path slightly from the inside. This time the face was slightly closing, which is fine, but it doesn't have to miss by much on this hole. 2mm hill, 0mm low, that's one of the best strikes I've hit with this. It does feel really quite punchy and nice when you get it right out the screws. We're going 179 yards of carry, 35.5 yards in the air, and 48 degrees descent angle. That would be stopping on any green should I have hit it. But I mean, I'm maxing out how far this is going to go because I'm getting that face closing, getting that draw going. Unfortunately, just a little bit too much. That was very close to being a very, very difficult up and down. We're going to go whack it loads of times now all over the face. Just going to understand how good these heat maps are, which one is more forgiving than the other when you don't quite hit the middle. Let's all go test it at 3 different swing speeds, 70, 80 and 90 miles an hour, to see if there is a benefit for different golfers at different swing speeds and see which one will win out of the two. Up on the screen you can see with the heat map data straight away. This is for the Pro 245. Remember, in the Pro 245 we have got tungsten, etc., moving the CG around the face. And if you haven't seen these before, these are the heat maps where I basically measure the ball speed drop off per millimeter when you don't hit the middle, and we are effectively looking at it face on. So on the top left hand side there you've got plus 22, that is the toe side. On the other side minus 22, that is the heel, and of course you've got plus up and down minus as well, high and low. And you've got that blue line. That blue line is turf interaction line. That's about 5 or 6 millimeters above where you should actually hit it. And because generally speaking balls are on the ground rather than the tee, sometimes they are, but generally speaking we hit most of the shots off of the ground. So if you hit anything 5 or 6 millimeters higher than you really should do, you are going to be interacting with the ground before, and of course taking a large chunk out of the world before hitting the golf ball. You haven't got to worry about inefficiencies of faces at that point. But you can see on the Pro 245, the green blob actually is a little bit more graduated move towards the heel. Now, the only reason I can say on there is the fact, obviously, this is being a player's distance iron. It has to blend very much so along the player's shape and size. It does look like a fat 241, this 245, and so it does blend seamlessly in looks and feel to a certain extent. This is one of the softest player's distance irons around. Again, nothing feels like a Mizuno and all that lot, but effectively that's what it's designed to do. And so it does have this shape of the green blob. You can move all the way to around about 20 millimeters off the heel, and you're only losing around just into the 3%. That's incredibly, incredibly good. At 19 millimeters, it's still 2%. Yes, if we move over to the toe, it is not built or designed necessarily for someone to hit it 20 or so millimeters out of the toe, because we are losing double that. We're losing 6% or so when you move towards the toe. But as long as you're not a prolific toe swiper, then the 245 could work absolutely well. If we go low on the face now, of course, we go in around about sort of like the half-inch low or so. We're going to be losing around about the 4% of ball speed, which is not bad considering, again, remember, this is a player's distance iron. Commonly people have it in their heads that the player's distance category are really forgiving. No, they are not. They are designed to be exactly what they are stated to be. Players distance. They're players that want more distance, not players who want more forgiveness. Let's move over to the JPX925 Forge with that contour ellipse technology inside the head. And there you go. It's just massive. Now, you would argue, yes, it's not as forgiving off the heel than the Pro 245. So I would say this, if you are a prolific heel user, the Pro 245 is actually better than the JPX925 forged. However, if you hit it literally anywhere else, the 925 forged is better than the Pro 245. It wins off low, it wins off toe by quite some considerable margin. The 925 forged is one of the most surprising irons from 2025 and just how good it is. And it is because of that contour ellipse face. There is a two-piece construction and Mizuno can get to the back of that and mill the contour ellipse shape. When it comes to the Hot Metal Pro, again, and the Hot Metal series, they've got the same contour ellipse, which makes them really very, very good. The Pro 245 hasn't got that. Of course, we are looking at tungsten, etc., but it will be really interesting to see what happens in 6 months or so when Mizuno bring out their new replacement to the 245 to see how well that one does. Let's go have a look at the radar chart. All this information that you're seeing here when it comes to the differences of the heat maps, the radar charts and the self-fit tool that you'll see in a second for the 70, 80 and 90 miles an hour is all from my website, www.askgolfnut.com. And this is where you can see the differences between all the irons. And depending on what access to what kind of tier data that you want, you can subscribe to different parts and different tiers. Now, the information you can see on the screen right now, this is the radar chart. This is so we can actually visibly see the differences between the forgiveness, not just the heat map, but in a radar spider graph as such. And then you've also got the flight differences as well on here, but we'll look at the flight differences properly when we go to the graphical self-fit tool in a sec. You've got the Mizuno Pro 245 in blue and the JPX925 in red. Instantly, if you look at the toe, you can see the big gains on the toe over that of the Pro 245. Again, the Pro 245 is much more suited towards a heel miss than it is the toe, whereas the JPX925 forged with that contour ellipse is just built to work off every part, and it works extremely well compared to 245 off the toe. And then on low, it slightly loses out again to the JPX925 forged. So overall, the JPX925 forged is more forgiving than that of the Pro 245. The interesting thing is with the contour ellipse and how they have thinned out the face, we have a slightly faster face on the JPX925 forged than the Pro 245. The spin rate is slightly lower on the 925 forged, and of course launch factor is fractionally higher, but that is effectively center of gravity placement, higher launch, lower spin, that kind of idea. So let's go have a look now at how well these two get on at 3 different swing speeds, 70, 80 and 90 miles an hour. See if there's a difference between how these two perform for different people who swing at different speeds. On the screen you can see I've got the self-fit tool, which is an amazing tool that we use for the gold tier on the website. Allows the website users to be able to compare all of the 90 plus or so irons that we've got on the database currently, and compare all the flights, all the gappings, all the distances to see what benefits there are going from one golf club to another. So you can see at the top there we've got 70 miles an hour already selected in the slider, also -2 for the attack angle. -2 is how much you come down at the golf ball. Again, different golfers swing at different dynamics, so some will hit down more, some will hit up more, and of course with the slider you can change the slider to suit how you swing. And when it comes to shaft lean, no different, or how much you de-loft. If you add loft or take loft away, you can move the slider, but at the moment I've got it -2 that I do for all of my reviews to keep continuity. So you can see 70 miles an hour, I've got the JPX925 forged in blue and the Pro 245 in yellow. You can see the max carry of the 925 forged 130 yards against 127 of the Pro 245. So there's 3 yards gain on the 925. That's because of that contour ellipse face. That's because that's got a slightly faster face. Because if you look at the average carry, 126 to 121, average carry is a measure of how much drop off you get when you don't hit the middle. You hit a nominal miss hit around ½ inch or so around the face. When you're looking at the Pro 245 against the 925 forged, 925 forged is just more forgiving of more parts, and so you get less drop off. So you're only looking at 4 yards difference between the average carry and max carry against the 6 of the Pro 245. Peak height is exactly the same, 22 yards a piece, and if you look at descent angle, no different either, 42.4, 42.5, no difference at all. It's just that you get 3 yards for free. So if you're just looking at the functional difference between these two, literally none whatsoever. If you're looking when it comes to performance though, you get 3 yards for free. Go to 80 miles an hour now, so up the speed a little bit. Keep all the dynamics the same, just change the club head speed. You're looking at max carry now goes 152 to 149, 3 yards, not much, but there's still 3 yards difference. You've got average carry of around about 4 yards with the 925 Forge against the Pro 245. Still has that 6 yards of difference, so you are getting closer to your max carry every single time with the 925 Forge, being more consistent off more parts of the face. Going 1 yard higher. Again, this is the tiny parts of averaging. It could literally be half a yard that it's averaging up to one single, but it's within reason. 1 yard difference, peaking up slightly higher than 925 Forge, and descent angle exactly the same. No difference whatsoever. When you go into 80 miles an hour, you're just seeing that slight difference in distance, and it is distance for free. Go to 90 miles an hour now, and of course we are looking at max carry of 170 for the 925 Forge and 166 for the Pro 245. So we're now up to 4 yards of extra carry, looking at 166 to 160, so there's exactly the same difference. 4 and 6, so the 925 Forge is just closer to your normal carry or your max carry that you want to hit every single time, because it's more consistent on more parts of the face. We're going 1 yard difference in peak height. Again, that's, you can see by the graph underneath, that's half a yard or to a yard or 1.4 yards. Either way, 1 yard higher, and we're looking at exactly the same descent angle. Again, no functional difference between these two irons whatsoever when it comes into a green. It is purely in the distance that they hit because of that slightly faster face of the 925 Forged. As a conclusion then, between the JPX 925 Forged and 245, the Pro 245, if you're going to go by looks and feel, I would personally say the Pro 245 will win. It looks basically like a fat blade. And I like the blade, so I like the fat blade. And it is much cleaner, less tech inspired and everything else like that. It is my winner when it comes to the look side of things. And feel, very, very similar. The Pro 245 just fractionally pips the 925 forward, but it is very, very close. We are still talking about tech inspired heads. And it could move around depending on what you like. So again, that's the subjectivity part out of the way, what I like, because it could be quite completely different to what you like down the lens. Performance wise, the Pro 245, one iteration back from the brand new JPX 925 Forge with that contour ellipse face. It's not saying it's starting to show its age, it's not that at all. It's just a case of you can see the distinct benefit of that contour ellipse that the JPX 925 Forged has. It just produced a little bit more speed, it's just a little bit faster, a little bit further for the same peak height and descent angles. You just win and gain a little bit of free yardage, and it's absolutely, if you are moving from say like the Pro 241 and you wanted to move into the JPX 925 Forge as a blend, from a functional blend, not necessarily a looks blend, but a functional blend, absolutely, it would be the pick for functionality alone. Again, in real life, the Pro 241 and 245 is a really very, very good blend. When it comes to forgiveness, the JPX 925, again, the Forged it wins. With the exception of the heel on the 245 is very, very good. And so if you're a predominant heel misser, then the Pro 245 is still going to be the club for you. Anywhere else in the face though, the JPX 925 Forged wins. Hope you liked the video. If you did, go and give it a big old thumbs up, hit that like button. YouTube like, so do I. Down there is a subscribe button. It's free. It is the best button of the lot because it does help the channel out a lot if you could subscribe, so thank you. And next to that one is a bell icon. That's a notification bell. If you click that one, that will let you know next time I upload another video. Hope you're well. We'll see you again soon.